Alright, welcome to another episode of Melman's Mechanical Macabre. So, last video you seen, obviously nothing we did was working, and we found out why. You'll see this, you'll see why, again in another video, but this is just going to be a short, to the point recollection of what happened and what was actually wrong with it. So I took the Blazer up to Zach's house, and then I went up there and helped them Sunday pull it, and we took the heads off, and we realized that that motor has been bored. And we're sitting there thinking, and then we find out the crank has also been turned, and there's no marks, there's no stamps on the pistons, nothing telling us that it had been bored, or there was nothing telling us anything had been done to it, other than there was a remanufacture tag on the side that had previously fell off. But even that tag did not say anything. It just said remanufactured. That was it. And what's wild to me is that those pistons that I pulled out, number one, they are not stamped with, 040 or 060 telling us, hey, it's been bored 40 or 60 over. And they're stock pistons. They're stock dish pistons. They're just oversized pistons because it's been bored. Who, in God's name, bores a motor, turns a crank, and number one, doesn't give some kind of evidence that that's been done to it in the first place? And secondly, who puts stock pistons back in a bored motor? Like, don't get me wrong, boring a motor does next to nothing for you, like power-wise. As you'll see, Zach is recording some for me, so you'll see him quite a bit in a couple videos. But there's absolutely no reason for anybody to put together a motor that has been bored with stock everything. Everything in that motor was stock. It was just stock everything. The crank had been turned 20 thousandths, and then the piston, we're pretty sure it's bored 60 over. So I went some digging, and I can buy a brand new stroker crank from Summit for $200. Now, granted, I have to get a balancer and a different flex plate for a 400, but $200 for a stroker crank, yeah, that's happening. So instead of a 350, which in all reality that was actually a 357 with the bore, but we didn't know that, it's going to be a 388 stroker. So that's going to be awesome. I'm still leaving the cam, still using those heads, and still using the carb. But I'm going to put a stroker crank in this thing and make all the torque. So that is what's going to happen to the Blazer. And I am entirely excited. And in all honesty, this happening to this motor, it being bored and we didn't know, is kind of a blessing in disguise. Because if I was to just go, get the correct pistons, I would still have to reorder main and rod bearings that are 20 thousandths oversized. And so, yeah, it's honestly just cheaper. Well, I would say cheaper because obviously I'm buying a crank, but it's just better And it's not that expensive to just go ahead and put a stroker crank in this thing and make more horse and make more torque. So now this thing's going to be around 400. If not, well, I wouldn't say more than that because of the heads, but I would say around 400 with a stroker, and it's going to sound amazing. So I hope you guys stick around and watch this because it's going to be awesome. And Zach I got to order it still, and so what's going to happen is this will all be explained in a separate video, but just long story short, Teco is going to be ordering my pistons. He's going to take the ones out of my engine because he needs them, and we know his engine is a standard bore. So he's going to get my pistons. He's going to order me the correct ones. I'm going to buy a crank, a balancer, and a flex plate for a 400, and we're going to stroke this thing. So hope you guys stick around, watch. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to hear how this thing sounds and how it drives. But until next time, hit the like, subscribe if you guys want to watch this and stay updated with it. I promise, I'm not going anywhere. We're here. I'm still going to record. I'm still going to do this, and I believe next time I go up there, I'm going to go ahead and do the build breakdown. So you guys might get the build breakdown before, obviously, we get the engine done and back in and running and everything. So just be on the lookout for that. But until next time, like, subscribe, leave us some comments about what you think. Maybe where I'm doing something wrong. But in the end, it wound up not being anything I did wrong. It was just the motor's bored and we didn't know that. So shit happens. But until next time, peace. Y'all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.